Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Just a quick little update because there's just some things that feel a little bit tense.
But first, we want to say thank you to our newest Patreon, Miss Rebecca. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your support. We couldn't do it without you guys over at Patreon. So here we go. Joe was giving a press conference.
I apologize. I have to go into a situation with another issue. I have to do. Thank you. See, I apologize. I have to go into a situation with another issue. I have to do. Thank you.
So he's like whispering. This particular clone actor, whatever, is whispering that, sorry guys, I gotta go. Yeah. I got something I gotta go deal with. So, that sounds pretty ominous. It sounds like it could be ominous. And so we do see multiple reports of things happening out there. As you guys probably are aware, there were many drone attacks and there were missiles that were shot in recent times at U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria, and again over some of our ships off the coast of Yemen. And here we go again, USS Carney destroyer attacked with drones in the Red Sea off the coast of Yemen. No damage reported, strike likely intercepted. This remains unverified, but many are reporting of this. And I saw numerous reports of this, mostly sources in Iran and Israel. Absolutely, this could be a significant escalation. In so many ways, I felt that this expansion of the war would happen in this month, and we only have like 8 more days in this month. But it does feel like it is expanding at this point in time. Here we see massive explosions at the Al Omar oil field in Syria, U.S. military base, and another massive explosion at the Al Tanf base. And we know, that there are injuries. We just don't know exactly what's going on. There's a lot of confusion. A lot of reports of Iran, again, telling its allies to go ahead and mobilize. As you see this, speaking of Iranian-backed militias carrying out missile and drone attacks on 3 large U.S. military bases in eastern Syria. It feels like there's a lot of confusion and disinformation. It feels like there's a real lot of disinformation right now, that there's this damage control underway. One thing that might really come to pass is you might have, again, human free will and certain commanders going against what they're told to do. I think you're going to see a lot of that in this war. Information appeared that a massive missile attack in coordination with kamikaze BPL is underway on almost all key U.S. military bases in Syria and Iraq. And really, when you think about it, as the opposition is coming together, and some have called it a new unholy axis or a new axis of terror, or whatever you want to use terminology, it is hearkening back to that feeling of World War II. And again, this is mentioning the interruption of Biden's press conference. Iran is an ally, absolutely, of Russia and China. They have been. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov met with President of Iran, talked about the Israeli war on Gaza, as well as Iranian operations in Syria and Iraq. Remember that we were talking about this morning. There were reports that Putin collapsed. Well, he was seen on TV. Again, you don't know if that's like from days ago or if it's another actor / body double. We've gotten that there's more than one Putin, too.
Well, there's, yes, definitely more than one Putin. Also, when you have someone collapsing and they're reporting it, you really have to question that, because you got to go back to the art of war. If you're strong, feign like you're weak. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if that really happened, why would they say something like that? And that would look pretty bad.
So always curious to see what they're going to show us with the ships. And this is really interesting because the Eisenhower, it was reported that it entered the Straits of Hercules right here into the Mediterranean. Now they got it showing that it's back out in the middle of the Atlantic. I don't think it got back out to the middle of the Atlantic that quick. They are stating now that it's not going to go into the Mediterranean, that it's going to be part of a central command. I suppose it's going to be part of that central command somewhere out in the Atlantic. I think they don't want to report where it really is. That's the bottom line, because there were reports that it was going to go down around the Horn of Africa and come over to the Red Sea area. You know, it's again deception. Deception's gone up to an all new level here. So what we do see, though, are these two U.S. Coast Guard cutters over here. These, I feel, they're looking for Chinese fishing vessels because, again, there's literally, I don't even know what the number is. There's thousands of Chinese fishing vessels that have been outfitted militarily with weaponry. And we know this, and we've seen them in massive, massive numbers off the coast of South and Central America. So it feels like everything is absolutely going to a totally different place. It feels like, we might read some groundbreaking, earth-shattering headline any moment as to this escalation. It really, really does. So curious placement, but absolutely, I think they are searching for those Chinese fishing vessels, which are absolutely weapons of war. And here we see the Border Patrol over in San Diego sent out an internal alert on Friday claiming that Hezbollah, Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad fighters may be encountered at the U.S. southern border. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, tons of them have been pouring in for a long time. That's nothing new. But the fact that they're acknowledging it is something new.
Yeah, that is definitely something new. And really, I mean, that really caught my ear. A lot of this stuff, I realize it's, media sells. But then when I read this really did kind of put a chill up and down my spine. I didn't like the feel of that. It feels very deliberate. Even though I think it's been going on for a long time, there's a purpose for them to put it out on the media, and that's for communication's sake.
Absolutely. And I still remember seeing people posting when we're talking about the migrants coming over in the sleeper cells, seeing people say, oh, they're just looking, give them a break, they're just looking for a better life. Yes. And when you talk about most migrants over the years, that's exactly what they were doing. As we've gotten closer to this time frame, a larger and larger portion of those migrants are actually sleeper cells and people that are going to knowingly take part in the overthrow of the U.S. and the overthrow of the NATO nations. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some of those people were probably just, this is too scary for them. So, they don't want to hear it. And it is scary. It's understandable. But it never does any good to stick our head in the sand when our ass is still a target.
No, it doesn't. It only does good to really prepare yourself and be ready for things and realize them. I know a lot of people just want to look away and pretend that it's not happening and live in a different world, but we've been assigned to this world, so we need to address these problems.
So this is a map provided by the United Nations that outlines a general route to the United States with 12 U.S. southern border crossing points marked with flags. It's clear evidence that, again, as we said before, this is a UN operation. This is a UN operation. So, all the illusions that people have had of, the system, it is maybe screwed up, but we could fix it. No, this is the system carrying out its purpose. It's never been for us. That's the big reveal. And when I say us, I don't just mean the U.S. and NATO, because the U.S. and NATO are just the targets in this particular round of this. The indigenous people of the Americas, hundreds of millions, wiped out. They do this time and time again. When Israel came into being the first time, it was through genocide. This has gone on for thousands of years. It's just a never-ending cycle with the real controllers in the darkness. Scientists are warning bananas could go extinct. We've heard about this for years. As a catastrophic fungal disease, it's about to wipe out the world's most popular type of fruit. But don't worry, gene editing will save them, of course. I mean, as you look at the blackness there inside the banana, it's so obvious where all of this is going. And, this, I was going to talk about this on a Patreon only, but we'll probably go into deeper, touch down deeper path that will be a little bit darker over there. But just let it suffice. I'll give you the link to this. Those purple streetlights people have noticed, it's all about noting changes in humanity. As humanity is going to be splitting momentarily into 3 different groups. And ultimately, as we've been told, Homo sapiens sapiens is in its last generation. And who's told us that? Well, it's the few. Spokespeople for the few have told us that. And we put that up to a mirror. So you have a top Swiss banker calling for the arrest of you-know-who, her Q-tip, and other corporate elites and unelected. Wow, this is big. This is big, because, of course, average people have thought about this and spoke about this forever, but yet you're starting to see more and more people in positions of affluence that are stating it. Do you know that the Red Shield family started central banking and sent 5 of his sons to be in charge of different countries? 1 to Germany, 1 to Switzerland, 1 to Austria, 1 to Italy, 1 stayed home in the UK. I wondered. The reality is, we went from kings and queens, lords and ladies, and they just change it to prime ministers and presidents, but nothing really changes. It's all in the family, is it not?
And it's all in the headlines too. I mean, we might see some exciting headlines, but I'm with a lot of people where I'm just going to sit back and wait and see exactly what happens, because it's the actions that mean a whole lot to me. Just like this bunny giving his friend a back scratch. This is going to go a long way toward friendship and sharing of cans of tuna. If bunnies eat tuna, I'm not sure.
No, I don't think they do. I really don't think they do.
Maybe you could share something else.
He'll share something else. So, guys, quick update. Stay prepared. Stay positive. Again, have that daily spiritual practice. Prioritize it. Develop that little voice in the head. And no, it doesn't mean you're crazy. It just means that you're in contact with a higher aspect of yourself and your loved ones that you might not even be aware of. Again, when we lose people in this world, we don't really lose them. We just tend to lose the perception of recognizing their presence around us. But most of the time, they're still right there. And truly, on the other side, they hear you thinking about them. Anytime you think about them, they could hear you. And often they'll speak back and they'll try to give you a sign. And so, again, developing the intuition, recognizing that we're never alone is so key.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.